We're going to wrap up the podcast talking about some new trailers. Let's start with the one that we just simply don't agree on.
Yeah, buddy.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What is it? Out of the Shadows?
Out of the Shadows.
The second one.
Yeah.
You really like this trailer.
Yeah, I did.
Why? What is wrong with you, man?
I think it captures. It doesn't capture the comic, right? And I don't think we're ever going to get a piece of fiction that really captures what the comic was when it started. But what it captured for me was the feeling of those cartoons that the Turtles had, back in the day when they really gained their popularity. And, seeing Bebop and Rocksteady, it puts it on this different plane for me. Like, it's like, okay, Turtles fighting, Shredder and that threat is one thing. But, like, you start getting these things in there, and now you're like, why not call up Krang? Why can't he show up,
Oh, God.
And then Casey Jones, I don't know, I liked it. I liked the friggin', I liked that they were doing the manhole cover shooting out of the van. I don't know. I liked it. I'm not going to apologize.
So stupid to me. It just like every time somebody said a line, turtle or not, like I just groaned. I'm like, oh my God, this just looks like the most brain dead thing.
But dude, in this series, when somebody says "Cowabunga, dude," people are going to cheer in the theater. So like, you're not starting from a place of high.
I know, but it's
high
like
art.
I don't. Fans and audiences can't have it both ways. You can't be like, they need to stop making these stupid branded movies and then be like, this shit looks great. Sorry, I'm not supposed to swear.
It's okay. I mean, I personally, I think, there's room for everybody, honestly. And like, I think the reaction was kind of weirdly split, just like we are when it debuted.
The ones that liked it loved it. Like people like, oh my God, this is going to be great.
Well, I was smiling watching it, which is weird because I went into it feeling that like I thought I was going to feel like you do now, which is like, oh my God, this is so terrible. And then I started watching it and I was like, well, did I just
donate it? Yeah.
Did I just love it? I don't even know how to react to this.
I know. When I saw your tweet last night, I'm like, I can't let this one go.
You're dead to me, Carl.
So let's talk about a different trailer that has
totally different flavor.
Has met with a largely negative response, which is The Legend of Tarzan. Like, I didn't hate the trailer, but I can see it did feel relatively kind of uninspired. And that last shot of Tarzan and the gorilla, like, that right out of the Hercules movie.
Yeah.
That was cheesy, and the dialogue was pretty cheesy.
I wasn't super...
But those abs on Alexander Skarsgård,
he's in shape for this movie.
Damn.
I wasn't mad at the trailer, really, but it felt very Yatesian to me, which is like, there's very yeoman-like work going on in the directing. Like, it's going to be a movie that exists, that works on the levels that you hope a movie...
It doesn't look like it's something that appeals to children, though,
Yeah, I agree with that. What's funny is like I kind of just feel like it is going to be a movie that happened. Oh hey, that Tarzan movie that happened, and then we'll like think about it later. Like it's almost like it gave me the same
John
feeling
Carter
of, like,
trailers were more exciting.
Prince of Persia kind of springs to mind, where it's like how do I feel about this?
Box checked next. Yeah, and I mean it's got Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson's character in that movie is a real guy.
Oh yeah.
And they're doing it kind of the backdrop of basically the Belgian genocide in the Congo. I'm like, man, you're taking it to a pretty bleak place there.
Can you just swing around on vines or something? Well, I mean, yeah, it's what did you think of the action? Like, there was a lot of vine swinging stuff.
The CGI stuff it looked like stuff from the 2000s, like the early 2000s.
There's a bigger question here, and one we've argued many, many times. So, like, there are certain properties that they just keep trying to make happen live action, and it's like, do we need a Tarzan movie at all? Like, who is clamoring for this?
I had kind of a depressing conversation yesterday with our producer Kyle and Terry, and I'm a big history buff, and I like the older stuff. But they made the point that like if it happened before 1950, like anything in the 1800s is. Audiences are just kind of over, which I don't think I necessarily buy because, like the Sherlock Holmes movies and Sherlock does well and stuff like that. So, I think it all depends on the execution. I think Tarzan, just for the same reasons we've discussed before, it's in this day and age, it's a tough sell of the great white hero in Africa. It's like, it's of its time, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And you know, like, I just don't feel like there are a ton of people out there who are like, we need to remake these classics into something.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how they keep getting made, honestly.
Jungle Book, I think it comes under the Disney touch. Like, Jungle Book looks like the one that, like, will nail that, you know? Trailer-wise, this week's Curse of the Podcast, X-Men Apocalypse trailer, dropping tomorrow, Friday. So look for it here on IGN. And then the Star Trek Beyond trailer should be dropping next week.
Wow.
So we'll get a look at the
Getting
Enterprise
a lot of
Cruise
stuff because
third adventure.
everybody, it's like when you have the comments and like in before, you know, snide remarks or something. It's like in before Star Wars. That's what's happening right now. In before Force Awakens, so that they can have their trailer on Force Awakens when it's wide.